Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Carson McKenna and I'm a recently admitted AA student and I'll be attending NSU this May. Today, I kind of want to go over my tuition bill, expected costs and expenses, my plan for how to go about my debt, and my setup for tracking all these expenses. And then at the last part, I want to go into goal setting, my feelings, and intentions. Let's get into the video. My tuition bill for the summer 2025 semester, and I just kind of want to show you what this looks like. I will be using student loans to pay for everything. So we'll see here, I have two loans, one direct unsubsidized loan and one Grad Plus student loan, which are both through FAFSA. I have $10,142 from the direct unsubsidized and $30,192 from my Grad Plus. It doesn't say here, but I know the interest rates. I'm pretty sure the direct unsubsidized is 6.23, something like that, but I'll put it up on the screen, the exact number. And the Grad Plus loan is at 9.08%. I'm almost 100% sure that is true, which that one's kind of like pretty high. But the nice thing is I don't need a cosigner, which is nice because if I was going to go private, then I'd have to do a cosigner to get a reasonable interest rate. So this is like the total amount that the school charged for tuition, which was $22,089. So that's just tuition. And then there's a student service fee. I'm pretty sure that's what it stands for, which is $600. And then anesthesiology, gen something fee. I don't know what that means, but I don't think I can get out of that fee. So it's $145. The insurance is $1,692. So I can opt out of the school health insurance beginning of June. And I think I'll do that because that's very expensive. And I think I can get the state health insurance that should be like $50 a month, something like that, like a lot cheaper. So I'm going to look into that. So the total required fees so far are $24,526. That's a lot of money, right? And then I think this is how they do it. So as you can see here, it says negative $16,888. That is basically the amount of money that I'll have for living expenses like rent, groceries, any car fees, gas, that sort of thing. To spend. I think this is a good breakdown for you guys. So now let's relate to tuition, things I can't get out of paying. And now I kind of want to talk about variable cost. So I actually enlisted ChatGPT to help me kind of figure out how much would I really be spending. This will change, obviously, so it's kind of just an estimate for now. My rent should be approximately about $950. Utilities, I'm estimating this, it might be more, about $150. Food and groceries, I'm giving myself a pretty generous budget of $800. And transportation, which I kind of assume is like gas and car insurance. And miscellaneous, I'm just putting down for $200. The total will be $2,300 per month. The summer semester is 3 months, so that will be about $6,900. However, ChatGPT added an extra cushion of $500. ChatGPT suspects that I will spend about $7,400. Again, like I showed you, it kind of said that I would have $16,808. And this is me saying to the loan servicer that I would take out the max that NSU thinks I might need. That is the max, which is $16,808. And ChatGPT estimates that I will spend about $7,400. So approximately half I think I will spend, which is good. And I also had to just project out how much I would spend for tuition over the whole course of the program, which would be $168,000. And then if I extrapolate out the living expenses for that program as well, it would be $64,400, which would make my total debt at the end $232,400. This does not include interest rates increasing as well. I'm sure it will be more expensive than that, actually. I don't know how realistic that is because it will be impossible to know until I'm actually going through the semesters. So now I kind of want to go over how I'm going to track my expenses and just related to finances. I discovered this new YouTuber. Her name is Scrubs and Savings, and she's a nursing student right now. And she does money check-ins, and I think it's really cool. As a student, maybe sometimes you can feel like you don't really want to think about your finances, especially net worth or something like that, because it's oh gosh, it's just going to be kind of depressing, right? This is on Google Excel. I'm going to do check-ins every 2 weeks, just net worth, and then my budget. I have my rent, utilities, groceries, gas, insurance, car, health and dental, miscellaneous. This is kind of just my projected total, but obviously, like I told you guys, this is probably going to be wrong. Like, let's be honest. I wanted to set this up just so I can kind of work on the equations / formulas and make sure everything's working before I actually start doing my check-ins. As I put in my totals for my check-ins, it will tell me how much I spent total. And then I thought something really cool is I can have it project how much I'm going to spend based on what I'm spending right now. Like if I were to continue spending about the average, what would that be by the end of the semester? If I spend about $2,000 each 2 weeks, it would result in $12,000 spent. I have it up to August 9th because that's kind of the last week of the semester. And then I will start the fall semester August 18th. So I'm going to start a whole nother little tracker thing for that fall semester. That week between the summer and the fall semester, I'll be on vacation with my parents. So I'm kind of thinking I really won't have many expenses. And I plan to have a little bit of an emergency fund too, which I will go over probably in another video, maybe like a week after I get to Florida. And now I think I want to talk about goal settings, feelings, and just intentions for the semester. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to the feelings I'm feeling right now because student loans are scary and this is a lot of money to take out, right? Like I said in my last video, I recently went through a breakup. I was planning on receiving financial support from this person, and I wasn't anticipating to take out this much in student loans. So, and this breakup happened a couple weeks ago, and I got the tuition bill also a couple weeks ago. Things changed really quickly, and so I think that's a little overwhelming for me, honestly. But nonetheless, I think a lot of people probably can relate to this. Maybe I'll do things I'm struggling with first, because I kind of want to end things on a positive note. Something I'm struggling with is
feeling guilty or undeserving, I'd say a little bit, of this money.
I do feel guilty for, kind of taking this amount of money that I don't have. I've not had student loans before. So this is like a new feeling for me that honestly I didn't anticipate feeling until I started applying for loans. And then feeling a little bit undeserving of this money. Can't really think of like a logical reason why I feel that way, but it's just what I'm feeling a little bit. And then next,
I'm struggling with anxiety about paying it off in a reasonable amount of time. Okay.
This is the loan simulator from FAFSA. My loans will be $232,000 with an average interest rate of 8.31%. I really like this setup because it really makes it feel more real. Like it's not just numbers on a page. It shows you like what is the future really like and what is it going to be like to repay this loan. I'm assuming this is like if I'm have this loan currently and going forward. So right now it's April 30th. So we'll just say May of 2025. And this is saying that if I try to pay it off as fast as possible, I'll finish it in March of 2035. So that's 10 years, basically. And I would have to pay $2,855 a month. And then total paid would be $342,609, which is crazy. Monthly payment I choose. So then we'll just keep going and increasing the rate. So $3,000, what would that look like? July of 2034. That's basically a year difference than what the previous one was. We'll go $4,000. Now this makes a really significant difference. 2031, which is about 6 years. I think that's way more reasonable. And then we'll go even crazier with $5,000 a month, which would be November 2039. Yeah, that's a little bit crazy. About 4 years. That's like very aggressive, right? And maybe a lot unrealistic. Obviously, that's a significant portion of the paycheck. Like, let's just be honest, that's a lot of money. But I just kind of wanted to play around with the numbers and kind of see what does it really take to pay off an amount like that. So anyways, this was giving me anxiety. I'm happy I saw it, and it's important to be informed, even when it's scary, because avoiding something doesn't make it go away, right? Okay, I'd say also I'm a little bit
nervous about these student loans kind of like taking up a lot of space in my mind, thinking too much, and it could prevent me from being present and having fun now.
So I'm nervous about like having a bad mindset about living with student loans, like it preventing me from doing fun things, spending money on things I enjoy, that sort of thing. Because as you saw from the simulator, it could take potentially quite a while to pay it off. I don't want to be struggling so much with it for that long when that's a huge part of my life in my 20s and potentially into my 30s. Now I want to reframe things. Let's see how it goes. Sometimes reframing can be difficult for me, but I want to try. Feeling guilty or undeserving of this money.
I have the opportunity to attend an amazing program that will further my professional career.
And I guess I'm going to do reframing / grateful for. I think it's kind of similar.
And I'm grateful that I even can receive this much money to make my dreams come true. That is an amazing privilege.
I'm grateful that I even can receive this money to make my dreams come true. That is an amazing privilege. And then I want to point to the undeserving feelings. So
I'm going to say I have worked hard to get into AA school, and that is something to be extremely proud about. You graduated with distinctions.
I would say I have worked hard to get into AA school, and that is something to be extremely proud about. Graduate with distinctions with a degree in physiology. Okay, so I think that's good for that first point. And then anxiety about paying it off in a reasonable amount of time. So reframing. This will be hard to reframe, I feel. Okay, reframe. Your anxiety can also show how important borrowing this money is to you. It shows you know how serious it is to take out this much in loans and that you will put in the effort to pay it off in the future. And the last one, nervous about these student loans taking up a lot of space in your mind and thinking too much about it, preventing me from being present and having fun in the now. I think my reframe kind of works for this one as well. Just say your anxiety / nervousness can shows me how important this money is to me, and then I'll put in the effort to repay it in the future. I think that works. And now I want to set some intentions / goals. For goals, definitely
2-week check-ins, and I'm thinking about doing those on the YouTube. So stay tuned for that. And then I really want to be intentional with my spending. Not zero spending on things, but cutting out unnecessary spending. Like too much coffee out, eating out. I do pretty good not eating out. Okay, so I'm going to implement some of my therapy techniques when thinking about loans.
one technique is the stop sign method, where when you think of something negative that kind of gets you on that rumination cycle, you envision a stop sign and you then reframe the thought. If I'm thinking about, oh my God, how am I going to be able to pay this off? Like, what if something terrible happens? My arm gets chopped off. I don't know. Then I'm going to try to envision the stop sign, and I'm going to say to myself, this shows just how important you realize taking out this much money is, which is good in the sense it shows me that I am serious in repaying it and that I'm going to put a lot of effort into repaying it when I'm done, and that will be good. And then if that doesn't work, and if I find that it's not helping with the ruminating, then I'll implement journaling and mind dumps in the evening. I think that's all I want to say in this video. Stay tuned for more financial talks, and if you like these videos, check out my other ones about applications, interviews, everything related to AA school. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.